Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
I'm trying to screenshot
welcome.
this.
Another edition here of the Brilliantly Dumb Show is upon us. This one has been highly anticipated. Here we have the ladies with us from the Home Team Podcast, myself, and of course, the Jersey native himself, that is Gerard Gilfone. Gerard Gilfone, are you with us?
I'm here, Bob.
Now, ladies, I want to jump right into this here, okay? I've been looking forward to this episode. What I like about the Home Team Podcast is you guys do it all. You guys talk fashion. You guys talk sex. Whatever it may be, nothing's off the table on the Home Team Podcast. That's exactly what we're going to have here tonight. I want to start out, and I was going to bust my chops out of the gate in regards to fashion, but let's head on over to the bottom right corner of your Zoom calls. That is Gerard Gilfone. Ladies, your thoughts on Jersey Jerry's outfit tonight is what?
I'm obsessed. Jersey Jerry, will you please take a wonderful selfie in this outfit, post it to your story, and act like our biggest super fan so that...
Yeah, I don't...
Oh! There's a leather belt under his nipples.
Now, Rode, your thoughts on this outfit here tonight. This is now your new coworker, by the way.
That's what I was going to say.
Your new colleague, Jersey Jerry, here at Action Park Media.
My experience of Jersey Jerry are like very professional phone calls about like billing and contracts and this and that. And he's like, don't worry, I'll see you on Friday on the Zoom call. And this is my first interaction with him.
And what an interaction it is. What a way to get things cooking. Now, we're going to start fashion here, and I got a bone to pick with you ladies. Right out of the gate, I told you guys something that I need to up, no question about it, is the fashion. Right now, I find it to just be abysmal, I think is an understatement. I told you guys to be honest with me every time I walk in the door to give me a 1 to 10 rating. The rating seems to be high until I really sat you guys and said, you know, let's be honest with each other. I now am at the point where I don't think I'm getting anything over a 5, and I rolled out what I thought was one of my better outfits that got I think a 4.8 right out of the gate. Let's talk fashion.
Okay, Robbie, you came in hot the other day. You walked in an outfit that Nard and I agreed. You looked great. You did everything right according to the Home Team Podcast. Solid crew neck tee in white, black, or gray. You chose gray for the day.
Yep.
Nice pair of jeans. They fit you well. The shirt fit you well. Nice pair of sneakers. You looked clean. You looked good. You looked simple, which is what we prefer.
Yep.
You came in yesterday. Now, describe the scene yesterday.
From the top or the bottom, Sophie?
Oh, boy.
Let's start with the bottom because that is what launched us into our...
Brace yourself for impact, Jerry Don. Brace yourself for impact.
I think what happened was I believe I gave him an 8 on that gray shirt.
So did I.
Jean day. Okay, so I think he got comfortable and he stuck too much to his own instincts. And he was wearing tan pants with a top that was red and black.
Yep.
So a lot of different colors.
Change it up a little bit.
The shoes were okay. And then I got a glimpse of the sock and then the other sock, and they weren't the same sock. And that's when I was like, this isn't right. Like, this isn't right.
And the question that I had for you, and I agree, it's not right, and it's just not a good look overall. Is it if I had a different color sock, I mean, is it worse to have a different brand sock or a different color sock? Because it was a different brand sock to where I thought is not the worst thing, thinking not many people are going to see my socks. Different color sock, I think, would be a little bit worse.
I don't think it was that it was a different brand. I think the thing that threw us off is it was a different length. Like,
oh, that's a problem. See, I didn't. This is the first time actually hearing of that. I did not know about
that. Was the problem. One was above your ankle bone, and the other was below your ankle bone. So it just looked a little weird. And then Naro today said to you, she said, we don't want to see your ankles in your socks. Wear a higher sock.
Is that because of my ankles, or is that just overall you don't want to see anybody's
I like
ankles?
a high sock.
I like a high sock.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't know about the different heights of the sock, to be completely honest with you. And
Bobby, maybe try a diabetic sock.
Now, what is a diabetic sock, Jerry Don?
It's, when the feet get swollen, the calves get swollen. It's a special sock. It's a high-length sock as well. If you put one of those on, I mean, like Sophie said, she prefers a higher sock.
Right.
Now, if Sophie's saying she prefers a higher sock, maybe a lot of women prefer a higher sock. So I think the play here is a diabetic sock.
Now, Jerry Don, when in regards to your socks, what's your preference of socks? If you could show the ladies here what we got in the socks aspect tonight, and feel free to talk about what you think you're seeing out of Jerry Don's outfit tonight.
Well, I'd start off by saying I don't know if you remember my sock story from Dick's Sporting Goods, but I'm very meticulous with my socks. Now, I switch out my socks every 4 months, and I only wear Nike Dry Fit socks. I wear the low ones, and I also wear the high ones.
Those
for
are
work.
expensive.
Yeah, I spend I'd say every 4 months, about $90 on socks.
Now,
I got a follow-up.
yeah, go.
Where did you learn the sock etiquette? Because it seems like you have a very strict routine. Like, did someone teach you this? Do you have it marked on the calendar? How do you know the 4 months are up?
No, I don't. There's no really, etiquette that I've learned throughout the years. But I'm on my feet all day at work, and I just think, after a couple months, after washing and drying these socks, I mean, they get a little worn out. They're not always white by the fourth month, and I'm kind of anal about that. I kind of skeeve that.
Is that too much to be throwing it all away after 4 months?
I don't do that. I'm gonna be honest, like most of my socks have holes in them after a little bit. And I keep them around because like no one sees the toes of my socks. I'm not gonna wear them in public. I wear them in shoes, whatever. I wouldn't throw out a pair of socks because they're not pristinely white, but I weirdly feel like a lot of guys are so nuts about their sneakers and what's on their shoes being just like so clean. Like if you scuff a guy's shoes, it's the end of the world. And I think girls are less crazy about their sneakers and socks than guys are.
You agree?
I agree.
Okay, fair enough.
I agree too.
I have a question for Jersey Jerry.
Yeah.
Can you give us a full breakdown of the outfit, like everything you're wearing? Because I'm not sure what's going on your head. I don't know if that's a beard or you're wearing a chin strap. Like I can't really see you that well, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah,
from
So
head to
it's
toe.
a beard.
Okay.
Yes.
Good
so,
beard.
so on the top is when I get an idea, when I'm doing interviews, as me and Bobby done in the past. If I got a good idea, I click that on, and it usually blinks a couple times, and Bobby will know I got an idea, so he'll stop. Now the bow tie, I always wear a bow tie, usually on the podcast.
Yeah.
This is for you guys. It says home team.
Home Team Podcast, and for those of you listening,
Can
in
we
your
see the
cars
belt?
right
Yeah,
now,
sit back like that.
He's got
Sit back.
a belt under his breast section, nipples hanging out right now, and a
Bob,
belt
heck.
pretty tight. His pecs are hanging out, and
Your
a
boobs look great, honestly.
pretty.
Thank you.
We should start wearing something really tight under our chests to make our boobs sit up like that.
It's a nice touch, Jerry Don.
Oh God, I think Jerry's getting turned on right now by that. What is the moaning?
That might have been a moan. I'm
And
not
ladies
gonna lie.
and gentlemen, we are early in here to the podcast.
There's
right?
like some moaning going on.
About Jerry, do me a favor. There's gonna be some sex talk coming up. Would you just take it easy over there?
Well, I never done one of these before, Bob.
Okay. Well,
What, you've never been on a podcast with two girls?
No. I've never seen two girls at the same time, if you know what I mean.
Oh, totally. What's that noise?
Now, Jer, we're going to go ahead and we are going to move from fashion and we're going to send this one over to you. Something that I have talked about with you guys that I find to be a very intriguing conversation. I believe you guys have brought it up on the Home Team podcast as well. Jerry Don, what are your thoughts on girls getting lip injections? It seems to be a new thing now. Your thoughts on lip injections, Jerry Don?
I mean, I honestly, to be honest with you, I think it's not needed. But there's certain times it is needed. It just all depends, Bob. Some girls are born with really small lips. But I've read on articles that over time, these lip injections, they can bust. And you can have a small lip and then the bottom could be a big lip. So you could be walking around a few days with fucked up lips. You know what I mean?
Now, Road, co-host of the Home Team podcast, what do you got for that?
I just am wondering, like, for a guy, can you feel the difference in the lip based on the amount of injection that has been put in?
Jer, I said it's kind of like, I feel like it's almost, I haven't experienced it. I feel like it would be like like the fake lips would be like a fake tit.
Can I step in here?
Yeah.
As the resident girl with fake lips in the building?
Yep.
So I have gotten lip injections since I was maybe 27, and there is a huge range of. My sound just went. Did your
No,
sound?
that was Jerry. Jerry's giggling.
The sound just like went out in one ear. There's a huge range of lip injections. There are. Robbie didn't know I had lip injections. I said he asked about them the other day, and I said, "Yeah, I have them," and he was like, "Oh, see, I can't really tell with you." And then there's girls who go overboard. And there's doctors who let them go overboard, which is insanity to me. I think a good injector will be like, no, we want you to look natural when you walk out the door.
Right.
My lips are very soft, not to brag. They do not feel rock hard. They're not crazy. But I do wonder about the girls that have the overdone lips, too much filler, what the consistency is. And I will say, I need to debunk that rumor. Lip injections do not burst. But something that does burst, which, by the way, no one in this room has this, breast implants can pop.
Can burst. And what happens when it pops?
So, like, your lips, you will never deflate your lips. It just, over time, they last for, like, 6 months. It just dissolves. It's like a liquid that they shoot in there. Breast implants, from what I've heard, are, like, bags of something. They're bags of silicone, and they can burst or leak, and you can have a deflated boob.
Yeah.
Jerry Don, have you had an experience with a fake boob?
Yeah, I've had both at the same time, fake lip and fake tit.
Jerry, were they hard or was it more of a soft structure to it?
Definitely not soft, definitely hard. On both ends actually. Like I said, in my younger days, 17, 18, I was obsessed with the fake look.
Right.
I used to love that look. Fake boobs, fake lips, fake ass, you know what I mean?
You've seen a fake ass?
Yeah, well, I mean, Bobby, hasn't told you everything about me, but I'm in the strip club very often.
Constant.
Okay, so like what does a fake ass feel like? Because I see girls with them that are dressed, but I've never seen a fake ass undressed.
Yeah, it's a good point. Is that soft, Jerry Don? Is that hard?
So honestly, that is a lot softer than the tit.
There's a lot of fat in the butt, but same
Yes.
with the boobs. You know what? I think if a girl is really flat chested and gets breast implants, it would be really rock hard because it's just the implant. Whereas like I have girlfriends with amazing boob jobs that I didn't even know they had boob jobs.
That's
and
a good boob job.
Yeah, exactly. And it's because they already had boobs. And I think there's like fat tissue around it. If you're just stretching skin, those are the ones that look like rocks.
What a visual.
Yeah, my thing, my thing, and I think I said this to you, Narod, is my thing is with the injections, it's a good injection or a good boob job or whatever you get if you can't really tell. I feel like as soon as you can look at a girl and say, oh, they got something done, that's where it's a problem. Is that safe to say?
Safe to say. I think I've heard that across the board with men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've also said, though, that some girls get addicted to it and they actually like the fake look.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, just go on Instagram and look at all like the Instagram influencers. You'll see it. But what I find interesting is I'll look at a girl and be like, oh my God, she's so hot. And then a guy will look at the same girl and not really feel the same way. So that's like very interesting to me.
There's girl hot and there's guy hot.
Yeah.
There's universal hot, but there's just two different types of hot, and it's not always the same. But there's girls that every girl will be like, she's so gorgeous, and guys are like, I like more meat on her bones. So, something like that. Like there's always the difference there. But back to like the surgeries and how you said every girl on Instagram looks fake. It starts at the top. And the top right now is the Kardashians. And they get, Kylie is like, whatever she does, every young girl in the country is trying to do.
Right.
And she got injections, tons of injections. They get the hips, they get the this, the that, at such a young age that now all these young girls are doing it way too young.
But will Kylie be able to sustain that? I mean,
I
is that
do
going to
not
go
know.
downhill fast?
I don't know. What I think injections should be for is to prevent aging. So when you start to see signs of aging, you take care of it. And that's what I've done. And it just makes me look like me. Like, I don't think I look any different than I did pre-injections. It just keeps you youthful. And the girls who are doing it at like 19, 20 is scary because they're changing their entire look. There's nothing that's aging, so they're just adding to their face. And I don't know. It's a crazy thing. But another thing I was gonna say is every celebrity that you guys think is hot, like Jennifer Aniston, Halle Berry, whoever, like the goats of like the most beautiful women in the world, there is not one who is over 30 who hasn't gotten Botox or hasn't touched up something or gotten whatever. Everyone that you think is so hot and you think they're just aging naturally, you literally, people think that like Jennifer Aniston is in her mid 50s and like she just ages so well. Like,
Oh,
no.
Is that so?
of course, but it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. I just think there's a negative connotation to it where you think there's no way because it doesn't look like she had work done. Like,
That means she's getting a good
of course,
whatever it is, right?
Of course, you don't go to 50 and look like that without getting stuff done because
Gotcha.
I'm 32 and I'm already having to like we talk about it. We have to do things to prevent aging. There's no way that all these celebrities just happen to drink this magic water that like, oh, you're famous and you don't age.
Right.
That is unbelievable the way your life turned out, you know? Like they're
Now-
all getting stuff done.
Things are going to get a little saucier here. We believe it or not, this is something that came up again on the Home Team Podcast. Anything comes out on the Home Team Podcast. We actually, ladies and gentlemen, and I know you're very against this, we have a foot fetish in the house tonight.
No, oh.
In the building right now?
We have a foot fetish
No.
in the house
Jerry.
tonight, and she knows that.
Is it Jerry?
She knows
Jerry.
that it's gonna be Jerry
No.
Don.
Jerry.
Jerry Don. If you could tell us a little bit about this foot fetish, when it started, what about the foot you like so much, Jerry Don?
So listen, first off,
gonna
let me
throw
just
up.
start off by saying, this started at this started at a young age. I'd say somewhere around 15, 16 years old. Over the years, it has just grew on me. And not only has it grown on me, but I appreciate feet, and I appreciate a girl who takes care of her feet. You've known this for over a year now, Bob.
Yep.
Now, say, I have a girlfriend at the moment, but in my past, there was times where, these girls would get shocked. I would bring them home and, we'd lay down, put on a movie, make out a little bit. And, I don't go right for, sucking a teat or
Sucking a
eating a girl
teat.
out. I immediately start by taking off a sock and I start sucking feet, sucking toes.
Ew! I'm sorry.
Can I just say, we have a foot fetish and a foot aversion. Sophie
strong
Julia
foot aversion.
is so disgusted by feet, so this combination is
see.
fantastic.
And by the way, brand new coworkers, brand new colleagues here, all coming together.
We are all colleagues. It's good that we know each other on this level.
Yeah.
It makes me nauseous. Like it's not. I'm not saying you're making me nauseous. Something about feet.
Is
like,
he making you
no,
nauseous,
No,
though?
it's the describe like feet. I have a foot aversion. Like no, no, you don't.
It's
understand.
clinical.
It's clinical.
What do
like
you mean it's
no, like
clinical?
I used to have a therapist back in the day, and she told me like Sophie, you need to try walking on your floor barefoot. I was like, I would rather die than walk on my foot.
And she
on
never
my-
went back to that therapist.
I've never walked barefoot on my floor. Slippers. I go from shower to slippers to my clean sheets. No one's allowed to sleep in my bed with their socks on or after they haven't washed their feet off. They can't walk from the bathroom to my bed and get dirt on their feet. Like, I went out with a guy.
Jerry, I'm sorry. Jerry's got his light on. Jerry, what do you got?
So I just wanted to ask just a quick question now, Sophie. I don't listen. We're colleagues. I feel like I should know this. Have you ever gotten a foot rub or your feet sucked?
So I've had a foot rub at like a like at the pedicure place, and it makes me, I'm like too ticklish, and I just, sometimes it's nice, but sometimes I'm like, okay, this is making me laugh. Like, let's just chill out. I went out with a guy who had an extreme foot fetish, and I
There you
didn't
go,
know.
Jen.
I didn't know on date one. I will tell you the ways to detect it. We talked about this on Home Team. When you start to talk to a guy and you're like like, oh, like, what are you most attracted to in a girl? You know, you're getting to know them. You're asking, like, what the other person's attracted to. And the person says, I really love pretty feet. That is where my red flag goes up. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know where this is going. If a guy values pretty feet or pretty toes more than anything else, he has a foot fetish. And so this guy on date 1, we were talking about it. I was like, oh, yeah, like, what kind of girls do you usually date? Like, what are you most attracted to? He's like, you know, describing qualities. And he's like, but like the most important thing for me is like pretty feet. And I was like, oh dear. So then date number 2, we're making out. And he goes, I want you to jerk me off with your feet.
And,
Ooh,
Jerry,
another moan. Oh,
Jerry, would you?
another moan.
Jerry,
Sorry,
would
Bob.
you
Sorry.
do me a favor.
I'm sorry.
Keep it together.
I'm sorry.
I mean, now,
Well, I ghosted him.
so is it? It's a total turn. I mean, say you meet a guy like a Jerry Don, and you really like a guy like Jerry Don, and you find out that he does have a foot fetish. It's a total deal breaker.
But I've never encountered a foot fetish. I just discovered it was a thing less than a year ago.
Right.
I didn't know it was a thing. But my question is, Jerry, when you're sucking on the toes, do you care if they're clean or not? Like, what if she's
Yeah.
been running that day?
Very valid question.
Of course, valid, and Bobby knows this as well. So before I start the process, if I take that sock off and it's not up to par, the sock goes back on, and we just go about regular business.
You're like just checking.
Just checking.
Yeah. Of course. Now I want to turn this over to Naro and Sophie. Now, how often are you guys getting pedicures?
Often. I like it.
Often.
And the second question behind that is, when you do get a pedicure, because the color is very important, I'll tell you why.
Oh my God.
What colors are you guys going with?
I like a white toenail.
Well,
No,
Jerry,
listen.
Don, I'm telling you right now, we get one more moan out of you, Don. We're booting you. We are colleagues here, Jerry Don.
Yeah, does Naro know what that means though? Does she know? Because she's getting white nail polish. I want to know if she knows what that
Naro.
means.
Can I say something real quick? The guy who I went out with the foot fetish insisted on white toes, said like, please get white toes, please get white toes. And I was like, I'm now like never gonna do that. Like, what does that mean? Why is it a thing?
Jerry's got his light on. Jerry Don, go ahead.
See, now, I have the answer for that. If you've never gotten the answer for that, I have the answer.
Look at this.
So what white nail polish means is, it means pretty pussy energy.
Oh
Eh,
my God.
yes,
Is this
that's
a
what
known thing among the foot fetish community?
Correct, exactly.
Like,
I don't
where-
know what that
exactly.
means.
Where do you guys discuss?
Jerry,
Where do you guys discuss this?
Elaborate on
that
this.
P squared word you just threw out, the PP word?
Yeah.
What is that?
It just means you have. Okay, you know, like BDE.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Great analogy.
Okay,
Exactly.
but girls, this is the difference. Like, girls don't know that. Like, no girl is getting white on their toes because we're like, okay, now a guy is gonna know that I have PPE.
Right.
So like, is this a thing amongst like foot fetishers?
Maybe in the foot fetish community.
Like, do you guys
It-
talk
it
about
is.
it in
There-
chat rooms or like on like foot fetish OnlyFans pages? Do you look at
Yeah,
those?
if you didn't know, there's websites where you could purchase feet pictures.
I know, because I've been offered to sell them and I get disgusted.
Jerry Don, I hope the answer to this is no, but you can always be honest with me. Are you one of those guys, Jer?
Well,
Anywho, we're going to change subjects here, ladies and gentlemen, on the Brilliantly Dumb show.
Is there any insertion with the feet anywhere? I don't understand what a foot fetish is, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it's a good question. John, is it just the sucking of the toes in regards to this foot fetish? Where else does the foot fetish lead you, Don?
it's just the appreciation in general.
Oh, okay.
For a well done, taken care of, foot. Rubbing, sucking, tickling. There's times where I don't want to say this, but I have to now. I'm on the topic. There's times where I have clipped toenails as a.
I'm literally gonna get.
I
off.
have a better understanding now because he just appreciates them and wants to be with the feet. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like,
right.
do you prefer the foot to the rest of the body at that point?
Do you prefer a foot to a vagina?
I do.
This is fascinating.
Okay,
Fascinating.
one last foot fetish question. Do you watch like foot porn?
No.
Okay.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
All right.
I saw an image once on Google Images of a foot 2 feet together with like handcuffs on the big toe.
Jerry, I'll be honest with you. It kind of sounds right up your alley. And
I think you sent me this. It was when I went out with the foot fetish guy, and you sent me it to freak me out. It was
Is
like,
that it?
It was 2 toes handcuffed together, like with little baby handcuffs for like foot fetishes.
I mean, Jerry, it just amazes me with the road and the journey that you're on and what you're willing to share with us. It's amazing to me that you haven't dabbled in foot porn. I mean, it's like, it's like having sex without making out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not I'll be honest, I'm just not a porn guy.
Fair.
Just not me.
Now we're gonna transition here.
I think it's time.
I think it's time. I think it's time for a transition.
We've learned a lot about our new coworker.
There is, yes, we did, and by the way, I'm not sure. Narode actually hired Jersey Jerry. I take it this is not something that took place in the application process.
This was not on his contract.
Not on Jerry Don's. Maybe the only thing not on Jerry Don's contract. We're gonna go from feet to coming too early, and again, this is something you guys had spoke about. I find it a fascinating topic in regards to when guys come too early. We've all had it before. Should we be as in a frenzy and a panic as we are? Do you guys look at it as bad as we think that it is, or are we overreacting?
Sophie, take it away.
Okay, if you listen to Home Team Pod, you will know this answer already. This has become our new favorite topic. I don't know why. We don't tell stories about people who have done this. We don't make fun of anyone who has done this. We literally are here to tell you guys to chill the fuck out. Nobody cares but you. If there's one way to react to it, or there like multiple, you have to either make a joke, acknowledge it, be like, all right, we'll go again in a minute. Like, all right, well, that was quick. Like, make it a non-issue, and it will never be thought of again, because we don't care. We're like, great, we're hot, we're great in bed. Like, that's what we think. And the worst thing you could possibly do is freak out, get embarrassed, go to the bathroom, lock yourself in the bathroom, like have a meltdown, like start to act weird, roll over, like all of those things you cannot do. This is not something we text about in the group chat.
That's where I was going to go,
No.
because to me, if I do it, I think, okay, I'm in the group chat, and this group chat now knows this guy that I just went by that they've probably seen already just unloaded everything 30 seconds in.
I will tell you when it's in the group chat. If you make a really big deal about it, or you're acting weird, or you go into the bathroom and you like hide out, or if you don't acknowledge it, and if you don't go again, like if you don't acknowledge it and you just like kind of roll over and you're like, okay, it's time for bed, and like you never bring it up and you don't go again,
Big problem.
then someone says, how was the sex? Well,
Right.
it was 30 seconds. But if we go again, or if you like, well, that was quick, oops, or like, if you make a thing out of it, no one will ever make it a thing in the group chat. It's not embarrassing to us. We go off your reaction, and that's it.
Now, what's amazing, too, is once that happens once, now the build up to the second time is monumental. It's Game 7
guys
of the
are
World Series.
But
But you got to entertain the subject, and I see Jerry Don agreeing with me, too. Now, you go in round 2, you better perform, or else you're in the minor leagues packing your bags come tomorrow. Am I wrong now?
No, I feel like it's something that's not talked about enough, and it's something that we as girls can't relate to, and it's kind of sad because there is so much pressure on the guy in that sense. And it's like, God, I wonder what that feels like. I just feel bad for that feeling that guys are so like worried about performing in that way. So I agree with Sophie, lead with confidence, laugh it off, but do not ignore that it happened, because that makes the girl feel weird, because now you're making her have to react in some way to it,
Now, about round 2, I understand. Like, guys are very...
Yeah, talk to me about round 2.
Okay, Robbie.
Talk to me-
But there's a
let's
lot of
talk
pressure
about-
for round 2.
I'll tell you, it sure
Of
is.
course,
Game 7.
I understand it. I'm not saying there shouldn't be. Like, guys are very, very mental. Like, they get nervous about things. They're in their head. It affects how their dick works. We don't deal with that,
True.
And if you fuck up the first round, you're like, oh shit, I can't do that again in 30 seconds the second round. What you have to do is make it your mission whether it's with any part of your body to make her come, and that's it. Just make that your goal.
Fair,
Yeah.
ladies and
And-
gentlemen, take notes. I mean, we're probably about a 95% guy podcast. Take notes, gentlemen.
And it
Very
doesn't-
valid stuff.
It doesn't have to be with your dick. It can be with any. Use your hands. Use your face. Use
Jerry would like to know, can it be with your foot?
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
feet are off
Jerry,
limits.
you can cross that off the list.
Use anything to make her come, so she thinks you are so great, and then you can last as long. You know what I mean? Like, let's say in between round 1 and 2, you're like, okay, let me focus on you for a minute,
Interesting.
and then you can get back to round 2. Just focus on her completely. If you can make her go, what's Noward's favorite word?
Release.
Release.
Release. If
If
you
you-
can make her release, feel free to release as you please.
Correct. So
Yeah.
do what you got to do to make her release.
Now, Jer,
Right.
very, very insightful stuff. I'm watching you over there, Jer, and I gotta ask, what are your thoughts about this, Jerry Diesel?
No, I wasn't really aware of, that the women, they don't really care as much. You know what I mean? I understand the second round completely. I agree with Sophie 100%. What I always felt is best for a guy, and I think this works 99% of the time, confidence is really key here.
True.
That's
You
what
have
we're
to
saying.
go in.
That's where she's going, no question.
You have to go in confident, because if you go in there and you're face first in that, and you're getting ready to go and you're all amped up, and in the back of your mind there's thoughts of you getting nervous about busting too early, you're gonna bust, and you're gonna bust early. But if you go in there like, I'm the champ, I'm the guy, I'm this dude, I'm telling you, confidence is key. I've learned that.
Of
I've
course.
learned that, Bob.
Confidence is key in everything in life. But speaking of, in the back of your head, we called Robbie on home team last week because we just discussed a topic that me and Naro just learned, that men have go-to thoughts to make themselves last longer.
Facts.
Correct.
Jerry, I would love to know what you think about to make yourself not release too quickly.
Well, it's a lot. There's not one specific thing. It can be the placement of where I'm hitting it from and what I'm looking at. It can be as stupid as I'm thinking about Cinnabons. I'm thinking about how they're made, how they're packaged in the Cinnabon factory. It can be thinking about Sports Center. I just try to focus on one specific thing, that whether that be, something, an object in the room, like I said, the Cinnabon thing, a sports team or something like that.
It's Don, it's a very good take, and it actually is very true. And I don't know if all guys have their premier go-to thing. I, believe it or not, when you guys called me, I was dead serious. I like to think about point spreads and different games, what game is on that day. And if the Yankees are playing certain spreads, for some reason, gambling is kind of what takes me away from it. With that being said, the problem you then run, and it's amazing the different things that go on in guys' heads. I think you guys would be amazed throughout sexual intercourse. What amazes, though, if you go too deep into those thoughts, if you go too deep into the gambling or whatever, then you now run the risk of being totally away from it to where you go soft. Am I wrong, Jerry Don?
No, you're not wrong at all. Not
Yeah.
wrong at all.
So
God, this
there's
is such a mental
is.
game for you guys.
It is totally mental warfare. There's no question about it.
Can I ask something?
Sure.
This just popped into my head. If you're with a girl that you don't have feelings for, you just want to have, like, if you're with a girl that like, I'm gonna have sex with her tonight and I'm never gonna talk to her again, like, I don't want to date this girl. Do you run into these problems?
Great. Just a phenomenal question
Thank
out
you.
of yourself. Not nearly as much. No, if not, I mean, not at all to where you don't. It's that one, the pedestal girl, the one that you've always wanted, where that's when you can kind of psych yourself out, and that's when the mental warfare
Totally.
comes in. One night stand.
See, I'm gonna have to. I'm sorry, Bob.
No,
I gotta
Don, if you disagree. Disagree.
I have to disagree
Sure.
because listen, if you really think about it, if you're in a relationship with a girl, for a long period of time or whatever, those thoughts, they don't come up as much. You know what I mean? Especially if you're active, 3-4 times a week, you really shouldn't be worried about, premature ejaculation. Now, if it's a one night stand type of thing, you want to leave that best impression. You want to leave her with that best dick she ever got. So now I think that's even more pressure on you to leave her with, wow, oh my God, that was the best dick I ever got in my life. So that's just how I look at it. I could be wrong.
I understand what you're saying. Like with your girlfriend, you're not worried because you have sex all the time. And with someone that's brand new, you don't want to fuck up. Exactly. I think I'm talking more like if you're not in a relationship and you're a single
that's
guy.
Where I was
right.
The
it's like
the
girl that
about.
You're like, all right, I'm going to take this girl home from the bar, but I'm not going to call her tomorrow. Or the girl that you're like,
courting.
Oh, right. Courting.
Yeah.
Great word, narrowed. Like a girl that you actually are taking on dates.
Fair. Yeah. And that's kind of where I was going with it too. Like, any girl to where you're not in a relationship. I'm in a relationship now. You don't really think about it at all. It comes natural. It's happening so much that you don't really have to worry about it. Now,
congrats on the sex.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So, I love having you guys here. I really do, because you know what? There's so many things that we could bring up to the table here. Now, all colleagues of Action Park, and now I really do feel like we know each other that much more. I'm going to end with one more topic that Jerry wanted to get on the table. He called me. He asked if he could tell you guys about this. I didn't see an issue with it, so Jerry, I'm gonna let you take the floor here, Jerry Don, before we close down. And Jerry, he wants to know, and again, I recommend you all listen to the Home Team podcasts. And Jerry, with that, take us away. Talk to the ladies.
I can take it away. I just want to know, Sophie and Narrode's take on what if a guy, is not a shower and he's a grower? Because I know a guy. I'm not going to say his name here, but he's definitely 100% not a shower. And I'm talking about, possibly 2 inches showing, 3 at the max on a good day. But when it's getting time to grow,
Jared, can we take the cat out of the bag here? Are you talking about yourself?
I could be, Bob.
Okay. Take it away.
I could be. I just want to
know,
know,
it's just someone he knows, right?
Somebody knows. Take it away, Jerry Don.
What's your take on that? Like, is that a bad thing? Is it an okay thing?
Okay.
What's the difference from start to finish?
Yes. What does it grow to?
I'd say about 6.5, 7.
So it grows to an average.
Yes.
We don't care what your dick looks like soft. We know that it's really small soft, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's not a thing.
I think guys go too deep about this.
Yes.
Like, no girl at the end of the night was like, how big was it? Like, maybe we'll say, was it big? Yes or no. But we're not breaking it down to inches or anything like that. Like, we really don't talk about it as much as guys think.
No. The only time we talk about it is when it's too big and you're just like, I'm dying. Like, you don't want that. And guys are so concerned with their sizes, and it's just, that's not a thing to us. No. Any girl who's like, yeah, and he has a big dick, I don't have any friends who do that. No one cares. And soft, especially, that's not something we
no one
notice or care about. We understand how it works.
Does that make
you guys know the average, right? What the average is.
What is the average?
Between 4.5, 5.
Oh, you're above average. Oh, that your friend's above average.
Yeah, but somebody I know who is.
Is that a fact, Jer? I feel like
that's a fact. You can fact check that. And
where would I find that, Jer? Because I actually would be curious myself of what the average actually is.
It's between 4.5 and 5 inches. That's the average.
Has every guy taken a tape measure to their area?
I would guess yes.
I would say yes.
Well, you know what I've done is you take an iPhone, and then if you don't have a tape measure, you take an iPhone and you measure it with the iPhone, and then you Google how long the iPhone is, to where I don't know if it's per se a tape measure, if I'm being quite frank with you. But you could take the iPhone, depending on the model, depending on the year, they come out with these iPhones year by year by year.
Pro Max, regular.
Right. And it all, it all counts, and then you could Google that and do that.
Every guy has measured.
Every guy's measured.
Every guy.
I have a question. Is the growth the same amount of growth every time, or is it vary? Like one day you'll grow to 6, one day you'll
Great
grow to 7?
question.
That is
Nara.
such a phenomenal question.
I feel like I should know the answer. I don't.
I don't know.
My take, I don't know. My take would be it does vary. I don't think it varies
Yeah.
by a lot, but I definitely do think it does vary, and it's something that I don't think has been discussed maybe ever.
So it's like you're having a good dick day.
Good dick day, or you're just that into it. Am I wrong, Jer?
Oh, so like you
You're
know what?
that
No, you're
turned on.
not wrong at all.
Girls can tell sometimes the difference between you can tell when someone's like really turned on. You know, like you know what I mean? And
I like those days.
oh fuck. You know what I mean? Like Narud's like Narud's talking sorry, we're not talking about having sex. Sorry, I'm saying like
We told you about the
sorry.
moan, Jer. We told you about the moan. Would you cut it out with the moan, Don?
I'm sorry.
you're
bro,
just
I'm sorry.
the reaction was to saying like how good it feels to know that like someone's so turned on. You know, you could tell the difference
Yeah.
between like when they're hard and when they're extra hard.
Well, by the way, that's like with girls too. It's the same thing with the
With-
guy. and
Oh,
girls.
you can tell.
Yeah, they can
Yeah,
tell.
you
yeah,
can tell.
100%.
There's context clues.
There's context.
Yeah.
clues.
And I tell you what, it is
That's a great word.
and such a phenomenal thought that again I don't think has been brought up. Maybe the first time here on the Brilliant Dumb Show is does it vary? My answer would be yes. Now, again, I am glad that we all were able to meet, you know, in a very interesting way here at Action Park Media.
Yeah.
Check out the Home Team Podcast. Jerry, we appreciate you joining us. Jer, you feel good about your new colleagues and coworkers here?
I do. Very easy to talk to, Bob. I found some stuff about them, and they found some stuff about me, and I think we're on a good pace here, and I think it's going to be electric.
We know how Jerry moans.
We know how Jerry moans. We know the size of Jerry. We know Jerry's fetishes.
Well, you
here.
don't know that. You don't know the size.
Because we weren't
Bob.
talking
You
about
don't.
Jerry. If
We
you
weren't-
guys
we
were
weren't.
listening,
It's
it wasn't.
unclear. It's unclear who he was talking about.
I just want to say, Jerry, thank you so much for the outfit. I lost power in my phone, but I did get a great glimpse of you, and it just like the fact that you did that warms my heart.
Jerry,
Awesome.
we need more fans like you at
Yeah.
Home Team Pod.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Whenever you guys, want to have me on, I could come on as well.
Can you fly out to LA? We need Jerry Don in the studio.
We can get Jerry Don into the studio. That's actually in the works. He wants Kevin Connolly, CEO of Action Park Media, to kind of take him on the whole Hollywood loop. He wants to go
Like the
down
TMZ
Sunset.
bus?
Yeah, he wants the TMZ bus. He wants the
Kevin's worst nightmare, essentially.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, Jerry gets him on that TMZ bus. Kevin Connolly on the TMZ bus would be very interesting. And Jerry, we look forward to you coming out here. Look forward to what's ahead here at Action Park Media. Ladies, we thank you for joining.
Thank you so much, Robbie. Robbie, we love having you in the office. He makes us cry, laugh all day long. And by the time Robbie is not done working here, but let's give him a few months, you're going to be Mr. GQ. Between we critique everything about him, and he's listening and he's learning, and he is going to be the best dressed man.
I would like to really, a couple months down the road, go into my closet and not even recognize it from the closet it is today. And look, I'm taking notes. Each day I come in, I really want you guys to continue to be honest with me and, drop the hammer on me. I'm ready for you.
Oh, you know what we should do? I just thought of a brilliant idea.
Lay it on me.
Content-wise. Me and Narod should take you shopping and do like a home makeover day.
No question about it. I think that's long overdue. I say that we're about week in to my
It's
tenure.
long overdue.
Yeah, but I mean it's about time you ladies took me for shopping and spruced me up a little bit.
Jerry does not need a makeover. We fuck with his outfit.
Don, if you want to wear that guinea tee anytime with the cut off in the pec region, by all means, we're all for it.
No problem, Bobby.
All right, folks, that does it here. The Brilliant Dumb Show with the Home Team Podcast. We will see you next time. Wild year ahead here at Action Park Media.
In the funny papers, Bob.